Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this video on the Libra full moon happening on April the 6th at 12:34 a.m. Eastern time. So for some of you, this will actually fall on the 5th, depending on your time zone. One of the things that is making this full moon so significant is that it's occurring after some big planetary shifts, especially with Saturn moving into Pisces for the first time since 96. And the really big one, Pluto moving into Aquarius, where it is going to stay for the next 20 years. So we have a lot of time to play in this energy. And when a planet, especially the outer planets, are at the very beginning of a new sign, we go through a cycle of calibration. We are getting used to these new energies. And we see this collectively, like on a macro scale, entering a new era. We are entering a new chapter. And this is also experienced on a micro level. So each of us are moving through these energies as well. So if you find that you're processing a lot lately, that there's a lot of energy moving through you, please know you are not alone. We are in a stage of calibrating to new energies. And we also influence how this plays out, the changes that are going to unfold over the next few years with Saturn in Pisces, big changes in spirituality and religion can happen with this shift, really connecting the physical and the spiritual in a new way, elevating our consciousness. And Pluto in Aquarius over the next 20 years, I mean, that's radical shifts in the structures of our society, which is huge. This is really a time of power to the people, and where I think we're going to see more light workers and healers stepping up and shining and receiving abundantly for their work, which is what I love helping you do. So if you are new to me, I want to take a moment to welcome you in. My name is Kara, and when I do these cosmic energy readings, I'm studying the planetary shifts, and I'm also sharing channel guidance from the Akashic records to help you co-create with cosmic intelligence and manifest with these energies in the highest timeline that's possible for you and your life and your business and the impact you are here to make in the world. So let us dive right in. I'm going to share my screen here. So you have the visual. I know a few of you have really commented on how much you like the visual, how cool it is. And for all of my fellow astrology lovers, like, it really helps you put the pieces together in a new way. So we have the full moon over here in the sign of Libra at 16 degrees. What makes it a full moon is that it's in opposition to the sun down here at 16 degrees in Aries. So when we are looking at the Libra archetype, this is very much about relationships. This is about connection with other people. It's also about creating harmony and balance in our world and appreciating and amplifying the beauty that surrounds us. So definitely relationships can be in focus at this time. And it can be a time where you're looking at those connections in your life, what ones serve you and what ones that it's just time to let go of. And I think that shift of Pluto, very newly in Aquarius here, Pluto moves very slowly, 0 degrees of Aquarius. We're also craving right now connection with our soul family. So new relationships are going to be entering. Certain relationships can be coming to an end. And it's just honoring that entire process, like the cycles of relationships, and being okay with letting them go when they have served their purpose. Full moons also are always a time for releasing and healing because they really act as amplifiers. So anything that's going on within you or under the surface is amplified at this time. And emotions are meant to move. Emotions are meant to flow. So when you bring them to the surface, your emotions aren't meant to stay stuck. We're not meant to stay stuck in a place, whether that's anger or frustration, for too long. Like, let it flow, let it move through you. And again, with the massive calibration that's happening on the planet right now, this is extra important. So this can be through nature walks, through meditation, through energy work, through exercise, which essentially is a form of energy work for our physical body, allowing energy to move. Don't let it stay stagnant, stay in motion. Even yoga right now, for my yoga lovers, really good just to move that energy through you so it's not staying stagnant and stuck. I know with full moons as well, for many of you, you have shared that it can affect your sleep patterns too. We can just become a little more restless when we feel the power of the full moon. So that can be that can be a normal thing as well. And what can even help with that is if we are doing the processing work and we are doing the releasing work, and you may even want to keep a journal by your bed. So if something comes up in a dream, or it's just something comes up that's on your mind and you're finding it hard to fall back to sleep, like jot it down, do some processing, but then put it aside. Don't allow your mind to stay active thinking about it all night. Write it down, get it out there, circle back to it at another time so you're not just going in circles in your mind. So, little tip when those full moon energies feel very intense for you. So opposing the moon here is, of course, Aries. We are in Aries season, but also Chiron. We have Chiron conjunct the sun at the time of the full moon. Chiron here at 15 degrees. So a very close conjunction, very close opposition. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It's also known as our greatest teacher. And you can probably see how those go hand in hand. It's often through our pain, through our traumas, that we come out on the other side knowing our strength, knowing our worth, knowing our value, and essentially feeling unstoppable. So with the full moon opposing Chiron, I mean, it can shine a light on those things that it's time for you to heal. It's not like healing is such an interesting thing as well. We don't need to go back and revisit every single trauma and have it be, stretched out and re-traumatize ourselves in order to heal. In fact, that would not be healing at all. But it is about looking at those aspects of yourself that are wanting attention, that are wanting extra love, that are wanting to be looked at and explored, bringing the shadow into the light, being aware of what's playing in your subconscious that may be causing a feeling of pain or disconnection in your life, and looking at that, knowing you have the tools and ability to heal. And of course, I mean, the tools we can use are so vast. There's so many. I love to work with my clients in the Akashic records to do deep healing work from that space. I also work with other energy tools like EFT to help move through pain and trauma we're holding in our body. So there's so many things we can do, but there's definitely an emphasis around healing at this full moon. Now, as I feel it into it a little bit deeper, it is important to look at the sign this is happening in. So Chiron in the sign of Aries has to do with the self. So your level of confidence, the level of confidence you have in your gifts, in your abilities. This is another theme that comes up so often with my clients, is believing in the power of what they have to offer. You have to believe in what you have to offer for other people to see the value in it. It's on you to own it first. And Chiron in Aries speaks to that. Where are you holding on to insecurities about the healing work you're able to do, about the transformation you are able to provide? It's time to own that. This is also about healing insecurities around your self-worth, how you see yourself, right? Identity is so key when we talk about Chiron and Aries, what follows the I am statement, how we view ourselves in the world. And the message I'm receiving from the records around this is a reminder that you are so much more than any of those labels. You are so much more than your personality, so much more than the heavy baggage you may carry around. It's time to drop that. It's time to be free of that. And the more that we recognize that we are more than the stories we tell ourselves, we are more than our baggage or heaviness that we take with us, we are more than our personality. When you recognize you are more than that, it is much easier to create change. It is much easier to heal when you don't identify too heavily with titles and roles that you've taken on or that may have been projected onto you. So much easier to change when you know you are an infinite being that is so much more than that. So keep that in mind. Now, Chiron opposing Libra here, the Libra moon, this can also speak to relationships. So there's definitely a theme of relationships here, whether it's relationships you're letting go of or simply forgiveness work that needs to occur in relationships for them to move forward. It's going to be hard to escape that at the full moon if there's a discussion that needs to be had. If there is somebody that it's time to forgive, and remember, forgiveness sets you free. It's not about condoning what the other person did. It's actually about just freeing yourself from needing to carry the burden of that. So definitely a good time for forgiveness work in your relationships as well. And lots of releasing there. So the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and we currently have Venus in Taurus. I really love this dynamic here. So the planet Venus is the feminine energy, the goddess energy. I always say Venus is the goddess of love, of beauty, of prosperity. So it speaks to relationships. It also speaks to finances and money and the feminine principle of receiving. So Venus rules over Libra, where our full moon is, making it the ruler of this full moon, and it rules over Taurus. And it is currently in Taurus. So beautiful energies here being amplified that balance out the masculine Aries energy. And Libra is also about balance. So there's a theme here of balance, of balancing the masculine and the feminine. And what is really being highlighted here is stepping back and allowing yourself to receive. So we kind of grow up in a society where we are conditioned that the harder we work, the greater the outcome we're going to get. And if we tend to be ambitious people who want to achieve a lot, who want to share a lot with the planet, who want to really help out, we can get in a cycle of constant doing. And there's time and place for that, but not constant. So this full moon is that reminder to step back and care for yourself. That is a crucial component of the manifestation process. If you are constantly in action mode, you don't allow what you have put out there to be received. But it's often when you take that time just to relax on the beach, to walk in nature, maybe just to sleep in a little bit later, like anything, right? That helps you be in that receptive receiving state is really, really key for manifestation and allowing the work you have put in to actually come to fruition. It's like leaning back energy, leaning back, knowingness of your magnetic power to draw things into your experience. Now, I also love that Venus here is forming a sextile with Neptune as well. So there is this spiritual energy that's coming in, really trusting your intuition at the time of the full moon. I always say trust your intuition, but Venus sextiling Neptune makes us very sensitive to where our intuition is guiding you. So really trust that inner voice. Know how your intuition speaks to you. Is it through a feeling? Is it through a sensation? Is it just through an inner knowing? Do you actually hear guidance? Do you receive visuals? Like, that's kind of going into the different clairs as well. But basically what I want to say around that is trust where your intuition is guiding you at this time, because it is going to be speaking to you. It is going to be sending you a special message for each of you at the time of this full moon, because we are in such a big time of transformation collectively. And, receive it. And then it's always our job as to what we do with it. We can ignore it, we can put it aside, or we can choose to act on it. And that's where the Aries courage comes in. It takes courage to act on what we know to be true, to set aside other people's judgments and opinions and what they're doing, and to stay in your lane and to trust what you're receiving, and to not, trust it enough that you're willing to act on it. So good balance of energies for that, where you are receiving intuitive guidance, you are receiving these little intuitive nudges. And then you can draw on the fierceness of Aries to say, now I'm going to move forward. Aries is, in my mind, Aries is associated with the inner warrior, our inner warrior. It's very much a similar archetype. So that energy of, I've got this, I'm going for it. Now, the other aspect I want to mention is the Mars trining Saturn here. They are no longer exact, but I strongly feel they are still in play. So this was exact last week. I believe last Wednesday, last Thursday, it became exact, but it's still significant at the time of the full moon here. So Mars in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces brings in a softness to the energy as well. And this is about, with Saturn, it always denotes an element of work. But where it's in a water sign, this is again, what I continue to hear is like the work right now may be to step back a little more, maybe to trust a little bit more, maybe to allow the fruition of your work to show up, because this is where it can be manifested in the physical. But there's a lot of energy here that's playing with the feminine. There's a softness to where we have Venus in Taurus, where we have Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, this water, earth energy. There's an allowance, a magnetism, a softness to all of this that is very worth noting here. Now, Mars is also sextiling Mercury and the North Node. And the North Node, this is another very significant thing. It is getting ready to move into Aries soon. In astrology, the North Nodes actually move in reverse because they're based on the rotation of the moon, the nodal nodes. So this is getting ready to move into Aries soon, and we are actually coming into an eclipse season. So another chapter and cycle that we are going to be entering here. So there can be a lot that comes up around this full moon where you may be reflecting on the path that you are now on. I don't think doubts around it. I think there's a deeper certainty within you around where you are now going. So in your business, this could be a certainty around what needs to change to reflect what you desire or how you desire to work with clients today. This could be new programs that you know it's time to put out there, old ones that you know it's time to shelf, but it feels like a certainty and a clarity here if you are willing to trust your heart and intuition and stop telling the story of, I don't know. Often when we say we don't know, it's very unhelpful. Even if there's a part of you that doesn't know, a more helpful way to word that is I'm open to guidance. I'm open to be showing the next steps rather than I don't know. We don't want to put that out into the universe. Begin to affirm, I trust I will be guided. I trust I will be directed to the right next steps for me. I can't screw this up. I can't get this wrong. I am connected to infinite intelligence. I am always forever divinely guided. And I have the courage to trust where that guidance is leading me. All right. So I feel like that sums up the main energies I want to touch on here with this full moon. So as always, take time to release, share with me below what you are letting go of. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space to receive new experiences. And this, even though full moons always kind of speak to endings and closure, the larger cycle we're in now really is one of a new beginning, and it is one of the new chapters. So the full moon here is kind of just like a little check-in of what is it time to release? What is it time to set aside? And at this point, you know what it is. It's just going to go back to, do you have the courage to trust it? So share below what you are releasing, how you are feeling in these energies. And I'm going to pop some helpful links below as well. I have a link for a free program on wealth energetics. I also have my latest creation, Calling Your Millionaire Consciousness and the Akashic Records, which is game-changing for anyone that is ready to welcome in more prosperity and abundance in your life. And you know in your heart, you're here to impact millions, you're here to make millions, and you're ready to fully claim that destiny. You will absolutely love this program. It's been game-changing for me. It's the work I'm doing on the path to millions, as well as the work I've done to create a multiple six-figure business and growing. And I just love to share that with my fellow lightworkers and star seeds, because more than ever, it's our time to rise and be a living example of what true leadership means on this planet and what is possible when we lead from a space of love and we are in alignment with our soul blueprint and our soul gifts. All right, I am sending you all so much love, so much light. Happy full moon, and bye for now.